There's growing interest in a number of cities and states to try to fund universal pre-kindergarten programs. Philadelphia is the latest city that wants to create one. Oklahoma has long been home to early childhood education that's widely cited as a model. Special correspondent Kat Wise reports on how a liberal political priority became popular in a conservative state. It's part of our education series on Tuesdays, Making the Grade.
A is for apple, apple.
In Oklahoma, the ABCs start before kindergarten.
D is for dog.
Children here begin public education at just 4 years of age, some as young as 3. It's preschool for anyone who wants it, and it costs the state about $7,500 per child per year.
I like all those colors you're using.
The program is hailed as a national model by the Obama administration and advocates who believe early education creates long-term benefits.
What color is that one? White. Very good. Smart cookie.
It's a costly government program in one of the reddest of red states, but it appears both Democrats and Republicans believe it's working.
It's not every day that a very conservative state like Oklahoma establishes a new social program. It's not every day that a very poor state like Oklahoma establishes a new social program.
William Gormley is a professor of public policy at Georgetown University. He's studied Oklahoma's pre-kindergarten program in Tulsa for 15 years.
Students are 9 months ahead of their peers in their pre-reading skills, 7 months ahead of their peers in their pre-writing skills, and 5 months ahead of their peers in their pre-math skills.
Could you help each other if you finish early, please?
Those differences were obvious to Lee Elementary School teacher Patty Eaton from the start.
Their skill level was quite a bit above the other children that were coming in without the pre-K program. It was pretty incredible to see the difference between the two.
Tulsa resident Coral Renteria says her 4-year-old daughter Lindsay is thriving.
She's only been in pre-K for about 2 months, and she's singing everything, like her ABCs.
What are the songs you sing?
A, B, C, D, E, I, G.
At kindergarten entry in Tulsa, the single best predictor of a child's verbal test scores is not race or income, but whether that child was in pre-K the previous year.
Yay, good job. While the research shows early gains for the children here in Oklahoma, the big question is, will those gains persist in later years? Critics of Oklahoma's program say the costs of pre-kindergarten outstrip long-term benefits, which remain unclear.
There's some positive outcomes for the kids, but then by second grade, third grade, those fade out.
Lisa Snell is an education analyst at the Reason Foundation, a libertarian think tank.
If you're talking about things like graduation rates, test scores, college graduation, the economic future of these kids, I think we have a more difficult time linking the investment in early education to long-term outcomes.
Snell points to Oklahoma's 4th grade reading scores, which have remained stagnant since universal pre-K was introduced.
So far, they've had a pretty mediocre response at best in terms of the progress that their kids are making later in school.
Remember how we were talking about things that we were thankful for?
Yeah.
But advocates for Oklahoma's pre-K program say looking at test score trends can be misleading, since Oklahoma has seen a recent influx of children who speak English as a second language.
What are you thankful for?
Principal Ray Narrow of Tulsa's Sequoia Elementary School says more students are showing up at school less prepared.
My demographics are very challenging. I have parents who have an elementary education raising their kids, so our kids are not learning at home like they should. So not only are we teachers, we're parents, we're teaching social skills, we're teaching emotional skills, we're teaching academic skills, so it's difficult.
And those students who are in pre-K, you're seeing gains, but there's a lot to make up for, I guess.
A lot, but I still believe the earlier we get those kids and can put them in this kind of structure will help them in the long run.
Right now you can look at the pictures.
It falls on pre-K teachers like Keegan Waters to bridge that learning gap.
4 kids in my class out of 20 are speaking only Spanish when they walked in the door.
Lindsay, Coral Renteria's daughter, was one of them.
Her first language is Spanish. In 2 months, she's caught up on her English. Like, I couldn't imagine.
In just 2 months?
In just 2 months. I'm very, very happy.
Across the country, 44 states pay for some version of pre-K classes, but only 4 states and the District of Columbia offer universal preschool. The fact that all residents, not just families with low income, can enroll here could be why the program receives wide political support in a conservative state like Oklahoma.
Whether you're talking about urban areas or rural areas or suburban areas where you have middle-class families that tend to get out and vote, we've come to expect that there's going to be a 4-year-old program there. Constituents and say we're going to do away with this free early childhood program that you've been counting on.
Can I mix colors? Can you give me a purple?
Take director of the Oklahoma Policy Institute.
Nobody has decided to go out to the...
She's a Tulsa mother who entered her 4-year-old daughter Lucy in her neighborhood pre-K program.
And I'm very proud of it as a Tulsan and as an Oklahoman to have a program like this that's so great.
Dover Spike loves a high-quality instruction. Oklahoma pre-K teachers must have a college degree, an early education certificate, and they are paid the same salary as all K-12 teachers.
As a parent, I am thrilled that this program exists, but preschool is more beneficial to disadvantaged children. And if we're looking at the amount of money we're spending on the program, where can that money go to best serve our citizens? And the money is best served for children who truly need preschool. A parent like me taking advantage of the program is a parent that could have been sending her child to a different preschool and spending money on it and is now taking advantage of this.
Lifetime hall pass.
For his part, Professor Gormley continues to compare outcomes of the 2006 pre-K and non-pre-K students who are free. Now in Tulsa's 9th grade.
Hey guys, I got 2 minutes if you want to go on time.
Do they differ in their letter grades? Do they differ in their standardized test scores? Do they differ in their behavior? Are there more suspensions if the kids were not in pre-K? Is there more absenteeism if the kids were not in pre-K? All of these factors have been shown to be really important in determining future success in school, future success at work, and future success in life.
75% of families here enroll their children in pre-kindergarten. Some cities, including Denver, Seattle, and New York, have recently put in place Oklahoma's universal model, while a number of states have chosen to increase funding for low-income pre-K. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Kat Wise in Tulsa, Oklahoma.